I'm a mom of 2 young boys. I work from home and I'm busy trying to take care of my house while also chase my young kids. I am Jenna and I am a miraculous mama.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Miraculous Mamas podcast. I'm your host, Elizabeth Joy, and we are a podcast that believes in empowering women through storytelling and education. And these last couple of months, we've had such amazing educators on. I'm just blown away by the information that I'm learning and just even the response from you guys. And your willingness to grow on this journey with me and be receptive to all of this new information and continuing to grow as a community. I'm just so thankful for all of you who are listening and supporting the podcast. I have an awesome episode for you guys today. I know that we've been diving in pretty deep with just a lot of learning. Last week's episode was all about inherited family trauma, and it was a pretty heavy episode, but full of awesome information of how you can break the cycle in the chains of your family and not allow you to carry on the trauma that may not belong to you and live in those responses and how you can change that for your children. So super powerful information. And so this week we decided we wanted to keep it fun and lighthearted and also share a story. We're going to be catching up with Jessica and Cody Nickson. You guys may know her as Jessica Graff. They met on Big Brother, fell in love, and then they went on to win the Amazing Race. They have their daughter Maverick, who is so cute. She is so stinking cute. But we wanted to catch up with them, and Vito and I are going to be interviewing them just because they are a little bit further ahead of us in this season of life. So we wanted to get their story of how they knew they were ready to have a family, get Cody's perspective on Jessica's birth because she had a super traumatic birth story with Maverick. And we wanted to hear the male's perspective. Vito's like, he wants to be prepared. You guys all know we're trying to have kids now, and he wants to be as mentally prepared as possible going into it. So hearing stories from other people and getting the guy's perspective is always cool because we always hear from the mamas. But I mean, the men in those situations, sometimes they can feel so helpless because there's only so much they can do to help the mama out while she's giving birth. So, and they just, we laugh a lot. They fill us in on their life. They give us some couples advice, how they keep their marriage fresh. And Jessica also gives us some tips on things that helped her once she had the baby, especially through that diaper phase. So we're going to be getting them on. The rest of the month, we're going to have Dr. Axe is going to be coming on, Dr. Jolene Brighton. She's going to be talking about PCOS and PMS with us. And a couple other awesome episodes next week. We're having Missy Garcia on, and she is a coach, a life coach, but she helps with igniting the fire within through sexuality, leadership, and healing. And she kind of combines all of those things and breaks it down for us, how so many of us may have some sort of trauma, especially in our sexual past that we carry into our marriage, and how to heal through that so that you can just have an awesome relationship with yourself, with your partner, and as a parent. So she is just awesome. She will be on next week guiding us through. Also, Maverick is on this episode. So Jessica and Cody's daughter, Maverick, she is on this episode. So if you hear some baby noises, she wanted to make her Miraculous Mama's debut. So she will be joining us as well. But I'm going to go ahead and let you hear this amazing interview. All right, guys. So I have my husband, Vito.
Hello.
And Cody and Jessica Nickson here, and Maverick.
Maverick, too.
She's making a cameo on Miraculous
She's going to make all sorts of noise.
Yeah, but I'm excited to sit down with you guys because we were just talking about how you guys are like a couple steps ahead in life of where we are. So you guys got married in October of last year.
Last year, yeah.
Yep. When we hit the 1 mile mark.
How was that?
The first year or the wedding?
The first year.
Both were great. Pretty simple.
Yeah, very simple.
They always say the first years are the hardest.
That's what I said. Okay. I'm so
Why is
glad you
that?
said
Yeah.
that. Because I made that my Instagram post, and that was the caption, and I wrote they say the first year is the hardest. I hope so, because this was really easy. And everyone was like, the first year is not the hardest. What are you talking about? And it was just all like, you're still in the honeymoon stage.
Yeah.
So I'm not crazy. That's a saying.
No, yeah,
No,
people
it's
told me
okay.
that, yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
then the guys I work with are like, yeah, wait till after year 2 when that's when it starts getting real. And I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah, but so they had, a lot of times people say wait until after you have kids, but you guys do, you know, so they say that that's kind of when, you know, you're postpartum and you don't want to have sex anymore. And he's like, you know, you used to do all these things and now you don't. And then you have a crying baby and we never sleep. And they say that that's like,
None of
They
those
said that
things
with
happened.
they said that with Maverick too. Wait till she's this age. Wait till she's this age. Wait till the next
guys are
one.
just
Wait till the
crushing
next
it.
one. And it's I don't know when that's supposed to come, but it's a bunch of negative people out there.
Yeah, I feel like people want to make it just talk about all the bad stuff. But I mean, Maverick was great. She started sleeping through the night at 7 weeks, which was huge.
Wow.
And then also my mom lives 15 minutes down the road. So
Nice.
whenever we are feeling exhausted, she sleeps in the guest room and she takes care of Maverick that night, which happens all the time. So we still get date nights. What else? I mean, we were waiting for the green light to start having sex again, so that wasn't an issue. The second the doctor was like, okay, you can start, we were like, okay, great, we already did.
on it.
You feel so
That's nice,
uncomfortable right now.
I make him uncomfortable all the time.
Are you a pretty private person?
Yes. I intentionally not talk about sex.
Well, surprise.
Yeah, but I mean, that's what they say though. I mean, you guys make it look pretty easy, but it sounds like it kind of has been.
It has. I mean, you know, we show all the good parts too. So, yeah.
I mean, baby number 2 might be different because I would feel a little bit more bad, like leaving my mom with 2 kids to go on a trip somewhere. But when we want to go somewhere, my mom takes care of Maverick for the few days that we're gone. So that's super simple.
But Maverick's also going to get easier and easier.
Exactly. So we would probably just travel with Maverick because she's going to get older.
I mean, we travel with her anyway.
Yeah. So I'm not worried about it. Right now, we're good.
Yeah.
You see so many stupid people out there having kids, and the kids are surviving. They're doing fine. There's just, if you're a capable person or a couple, you're going to be fine.
That's hilarious because yesterday we were talking, we're like, man, parenting just seems so hard and there's so many hard decisions you have to make and it can be very stressful and whatever. And I'm like, but babe, there's a lot of dum-dums out there who are having like
Exactly.
a litter of kids and they're fine.
Yeah.
Like,
Everyone's surviving.
We're semi-educated, you know, like we work hard. I think we'll be all right.
We survived.
Yeah.
I went to college for a year and a half, you know.
I went to college for a year. So you're already doing better than me.
No, but I mean, I don't know. I think that one thing that we talk about is just having open communication. And when you have that in your relationship and you can tell each other, this is how I'm feeling or this is what's going on, I feel like it makes everything so much easier. And when we were listening to you guys on your podcast, it just seems like you guys get each other and that you're not afraid to, like, if you don't let anything build up for too long. You're just like, this is what's happening. Or I loved what you said, Cody. You said you don't really get mad at her. Like she would get mad at you, but what did he say?
No, it was like a one-sided fight. You were saying like she was yelling at you, and you're like, I don't really fight back. I don't really fight with you. You sort of just fight with me, which is, it sounds like you give her the space to air things out, and you're not like letting things build, and then
Because I have word vomit. Like I don't.
Yeah.
There's nothing's going to
you
build
said you're
up.
Italian, right?
Because, yeah.
So
The second something's bothering me, you're going to know about it.
Yeah.
There's no building anything up with me.
Patience is important. That's huge. And I mean, once you're committed to somebody, you know, you're just not going to. I mean, you just got to be patient. There's just no other. You made the decision to commit to each other, so if there's ever an issue or any kind of anger between you, you just be patient about it. It'll all smooth over. Love always wins.
That's very true. All right, so it's that time of year when everybody is traveling, running around like crazy, and getting thoughtful gifts for people that you care about. And also, you're starting to think about next year and setting New Year's resolutions. So think about giving yourself the gift of an Audible membership. Now is the best time to do it with a special offer of 53% off your first 3 months. You can access an unbeatable selection of audiobooks, including bestsellers, motivation, mysteries, thrillers, memoirs, and more. You can choose 3 titles every month. That's 1 audiobook and 2 exclusive Audible originals that you can't hear anywhere else. Listen on any device, anytime, anywhere with the Audible app. It's great while commuting, at the gym, or during your holiday travels. With Audible, you'll also enjoy an easy audiobook, exchanges, and your own audiobook library you keep forever, even if you cancel. So I gifted myself the gift of Audible because it's my New Year's resolution to read more. And it's so much easier just having the book on your phone, and I can listen to it while I'm commuting and while I'm taking Hutch to the dog park. I walk around and I listen to my books on there, and I'm really loving that they have parenting books and they have a lot of selection for pregnancy and stuff like that, since you guys know I'm obviously into all of that. So I've downloaded a few of those books and I cannot wait to dive into them. I'm halfway through one of them, and it's just such an amazing resource to have. And one of my favorite features is that you can share a book from your library with anybody, and if it's their first time accepting an audiobook through this feature, they can listen for free. So I can share the information that I'm learning. I can also share audio excerpts from my favorite listens with anybody. I absolutely love it. Right now, for a limited time, you can get 3 months of Audible for just $6.95 a month. That's more than half of the regular price. Give yourself the gift of listening. For more information, go to audible.com/mamas to learn more about this amazing offer. And don't forget, right now, for a limited time, you can get 3 months of Audible for just $6.95 a month. That's more than half off the regular price. Choose 1 audiobook and 2 Audible originals absolutely free. Visit audible.com/mamas or text mamas to 500-500. That's mamas to 500-500. So how did you guys know you were ready to have kids?
Oh,
He's old.
I wanted to have kids with him.
Yeah, how old are you?
Because he is.
I wanted to put a baby in her just once I met her.
That's sort of talking about sex, for the record.
No, it's not. It's talking about
It's not
reproduction.
talking about
You know,
sex.
Keeping the bloodline going.
Yeah, exactly. And no, but I'm 34.
Yeah,
It's not a big deal. How old are you?
I'm 28, but she's 32. You're going to be 33.
Oh my gosh, we're
next month,
flipped.
yeah.
So I'm 28. So
Yeah.
it's kind of, okay. But yeah, I'm...
I got me a cougar.
Me too.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, but I mean, how did you know? Because I feel like that is such a life-changing decision to make.
How did we know what?
To have kids, like you were ready to have kids.
Well,
I guess
sounds
it
like
was
he
never a
ready.
question.
No, we were on the same page the second we met.
Yeah.
I'm not even lying. Like we fell in love instantly. So it was just obvious that we were going to just get married as soon as possible, have kids as soon as possible. We ran.
It wasn't like even we just started talking about marriage like pretty soon into the relationship, and it wasn't uncomfortable or weird. It was just kind of, it just felt right and natural. And we never even discussed like, okay, we're going to start trying it. I honestly don't ever remember making a conscious decision like, okay, we're going to try to get pregnant right now.
What is trying? Having sex without a condom?
Yeah.
That's how we look at it.
You're doing it.
I guess we've always been trying.
Oh my gosh.
But like, yeah, I don't. It just
Maverick didn't
happened.
like that.
No, you.
Sorry,
you
kid,
traumatized
sorry.
her. She grabbed her heart and she goes, "Oh my god."
Yeah. I mean, it sounds like you guys have kind of been on the same page then. So then, when Jessica, you had, You've talked before about your birth story, but I'd love for you just to kind of share it to our listeners a little bit. And then I'd love to hear Cody's perspective, like what was going through your mind during the dramatic birth, entering Maverick into this world.
Okay, so I had a fairly easy pregnancy. There were obviously hiccups, like the back pains. wasn't comfortable in my own body, was super insecure. It's not easy to go and gain 50 pounds, you know? So I just went. There was one night in particular where I came downstairs and I just bursted out crying. And it was like 3, 4 in the morning. And I was just like, I'm done being pregnant. Like, I can't do this anymore. I'm exhausted. My body hurts. I'm insecure. I had really bad acne through my pregnancy on my face, my chest, my back. I wasn't happy, you know? And I just wanted it to be over with. And that same day, when I did finally fall asleep that night and I woke up, I just didn't feel well. And I usually can try and power through the day, but that day it wasn't happening. And Cody, his sister was here, her husband Ryan was here, and then our nieces and our daughter Paisley were all here in the house staying with us for spring break. So it was a really busy time in the house, and I just laid in bed all day. And they had gone out, and I wanted to go out with them to like explore and entertain them, and it just wasn't happening. And so I stayed in bed all day. And when they got home, we were all hanging out downstairs here in the living room, and I was on the couch and I was just not feeling well. And 2 days before that, we had gone to one of our doctor appointments, routine, and my gynecologist told me that I had an aging placenta. So can you be a little more informative about what that means?
Not tons. No? It just means kind of your placenta is ahead of where your baby is, basically.
It was starting to die, essentially. Right. So they wanted to keep a close eye on that. And because I wasn't feeling well that day, I decided to read a little bit more as to what that meant. So I started reading about it. And right there it had said, it's not something to really, really be concerned about as long as your blood pressure was under control. So Cody has a blood pressure machine here in the house. And he had gotten off Amazon like a couple of years prior, and it was like this cheap little device. So I had asked him, can you take my blood pressure? And he took my blood pressure. Do you remember what it was?
At that time, it was high 170s over...
Oh, my goodness.
Like 100 and something. Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
So we thought the machine was broken. So we took turns, and it kind of turned into a game because we've got a house full of kids in the house right now. And everyone was taking their blood pressure and going around taking the rope. Everyone's blood pressure was completely normal except for mine. And Danielle Maltby, who you know from the Bachelor world, is also a nurse. And whenever I had any questions throughout my pregnancy, I always called Danielle. So we had been told that I needed to go to the hospital, and I didn't want to go because I'm not the kind of person that...
We're not hypochondriacs.
Exactly.
We're like the opposite.
Yeah. If someone's like telling you need to go to the hospital, we're like, no, we're fine. It's not a big deal. So I just decided I was going to go sit in the shower because that's what I do when I don't feel good. I like to go sit in the shower. And I went to do that, and I got into the habit of FaceTiming Danielle in the shower.
Yeah.
And so I FaceTimed Danielle in the shower, and I explained to her what was going on, and she told me, you need to go to the hospital right now. And we decided that we were going to do one last ditch effort to see if this was the real deal before going to the hospital. So we went to the Kroger supermarket right down the street, and they had a blood pressure machine right in the grocery store. And do you remember what my blood pressure was then?
It was like 187 at that point.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So it was rising. And we called the doctor. We called the hospital. And they said, okay, you know what, come in. And it was kind of like, they were kind of brushing me off as like, you guys are doing it wrong.
Yeah, they didn't believe it.
No one believed it. So we decided to come back to the house right down the street and grab my hospital bag and say goodbye to everyone. And we told all the kids, like, Maverick might be born that day. So they were all really excited. And the second we got into the car, I went south so fast. I started screaming. There was like this, it was like there was a balloon inside of my stomach that felt like it was getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And the pressure was insane, and I was yelling, and then my vision started to go. I was seeing spots, and it went into tunnel vision, and I couldn't see out of my peripherals. It was just, I was in hell. And we get to the hospital, and I could barely walk at that point. And Cody is wheeling me in a handicap chair, a wheelchair.
Wheelchair.
And
yes.
And they take my blood pressure, and all of the nurses were shocked because I'm being rolled in and I'm screaming. And to them, they're just like getting a routine person who needs to get their blood pressure checked. So they were very confused as to what was going on. They took my blood pressure. Oh, my favorite part of the story is the second I get into the hospital room I felt like I was legitimately in so much pain that I was going to shit my pants. Like, it's gonna happen. So I went to the bathroom immediately. And I was also embarrassed because I was like, they're gonna think that I just was having like stomach pains and I just had to go to the bathroom and I'm here in the hospital. So I was embarrassed. And I laid down in bed and they took my blood pressure. Do you remember what it was at that point, babe? 220. Over something. I don't know.
I'm having a low-key panic attack as you're telling the story.
I'm not a hypochondriac, so this is
no.
like when I say that it was a big deal, it was a big effing deal.
Like it, yeah.
All right, so by now, CBD is all over the map, and there's tons of amazing health benefits for using CBD. It can be anti-inflammatory, it can help with anxiety, it can help you sleep. There's so many benefits for using great CBD, but finding a good CBD company can be really hard. But that is why I love Hemp Fusion. They're unlike all the other brands who just offer CBD because they have CBD infused with omegas and terpenes and other natural ingredients to help you feel 100%. And the reason why they do that is they understand how CBD works with the body. They know that when they combine it with these other nutrients, it helps you so much more. And it helps with stress and sleep and energy, which is something that we could all use a little bit more of. I'm always in need of more sleep, that's for sure. And our bodies already make cannabinoids. Did you know that? And plant-based CBD helps naturally balance your body out. Everything that Hemp Fusion does adds to a better product, and that makes a better day for you. They have their products both available online, and look out for stores because they do have them at some retailers near you, and they ship anywhere in the U.S. And right now, we have a special offer for you. Use promo code MAMAS for 20% off your first order and free shipping at hempfusion.com. That's promo code MAMAS at hempfusion.com. Get Hemp Fusion shipped anywhere in the U.S. today.
And so they take my blood pressure. And what did you say my blood pressure was, babe? 220 over something outrageous. And it was at that point where you saw all of the nurses go into panic mode. Everyone started moving at that point. They called the doctor. My doctor was there in minutes. Like, I didn't have any time to ask any questions. I didn't know what was going on. All I knew, I was in a lot of pain, and they had both of my arms, and so many needles were going into both of my arms. They were rolling me into the room to have a C-section. And at that point, my doctor, who is so incredibly amazing, she was telling me that she really wanted to have a St. Patrick's Day baby because it just so happened to be St. Patrick's Day that day. So it was 11:50 at night. And she was like, we're going to get this baby out of you really fast because I really want her to be born on St. Patrick's Day. Later, after everything is done, I find out that she was just trying to keep me calm, but she needed to get the baby out because it was such an emergency. But everything just happened so fast. I swear she had the baby out of me within 10 minutes. The epidural went in and the baby came out, and I honestly don't remember much after that. The whole, like, a good day and a half of post-labor is just a blur because they had me on so much magnesium that I didn't really get to hold Maverick and enjoy her. I was so terrified I was going to drop her because I was so drugged up and they couldn't get my blood pressure down. Because what they were telling me was the second that they got the baby out, my blood pressure would drop and go back to normal. This didn't happen for weeks after my pregnancy. Even after I left the hospital. So I was just on bags of magnesium and just in and out. I couldn't really tell you anything that went on. It's just all such a fog, which sucks because it's the first day of my daughter being alive on this planet, and I can't even really hold her or enjoy her presence after carrying her for 9 months, you know? Well, she was 4 weeks early at that point, and she didn't have to go to the NICU, thank God. She was perfectly healthy, and the days of me being in the hospital, my blood pressure wasn't coming down. I was having panic attacks. I was very stressed out. I didn't really know what would happen had my blood pressure not come down, and I was too scared to ask.
Right.
Yeah.
So I told the nurses, my blood pressure is not physically going to come down until I'm home. I need to be home because I'm so stressed out and panicked that nothing's going to get better. So they did end up releasing me, and I had to monitor my blood pressure, and it came down after about 2 weeks. It was back to normal.
Wow.
Jeez.
So awful first birth experience.
And this is all from the aging placenta that caused all this, or?
Yeah.
Well, it was pre-eclampsia, is that?
It was severe preeclampsia. Yeah.
Wow.
Jeez.
That sounds so... And now you guys are trying again.
And we're trying. It did not... don't get me wrong. I'm still terrified of it. But I love my daughter so much. I want 3 more of her. You know? Like, it's not enough to just stop me from wanting more babies. Like, she's incredible. And I want a busy holiday house throughout my life. Like, I know what we want, and... my doctor claims that the chances of it happening again is severely decreased. I'm skeptical. But I can take baby aspirin every single day throughout my pregnancy, and that's supposed to help.
Yeah.
And there's other things. It's more doctor visits. It's keeping a better eye on it, and doctors taking me seriously because
Right.
my mother went through the exact same thing, and I had told my doctor this when I did get pregnant. My mom had 2 emergency C-sections, both with me and my brother, because she had preeclampsia. Her blood pressure was very high. So again, it goes back to doctors really need to listen when you give them that kind of information.
Yeah, I didn't know. So not to take over, babe, but I didn't know any of this stuff until I met Liz, because she works as a doula, which is like an advocate for the mother, and I didn't know how much of a disconnect there was between doctors and the mothers until she kind of explained to me and showed me every time she went to go do a birth. She's like, "Oh, this is what happened," and whatever. She was able to advocate for you, but I know this is a mom's podcast and stuff, but I think it's important for mothers to learn too what the guys are thinking too, because what were you going through? Because I listen to that story and I start sweating. And that's not even my wife or my kid.
I feel guilty because I was one of the people that in that situation was reinforcing Jessica, it's fine. It's fine. The doctor pretty much tells you that unless it's something you would normally go to the doctor for, you shouldn't come in.
Did you actually believe it's fine, or were you just being
I thought it was fine. And so we asked Danielle. She said go in. And then we asked 2 other nurses that we know. We just know a lot of people. So we asked 2 other nurses, and they were same thing. So I'm like, okay. And my level of concern didn't really rise until we were driving to the hospital, and then her vision went. And then, she felt the sharp pains and then the severe headache. And I was like, that's when I knew that something was severely wrong. And, once I got her there, we got her there just in time before she experienced a stroke. And, something severe could have gone wrong, whatever. Yeah. And just if we would have waited just a few minutes more, I mean, it could have just gone so much worse. Yeah. And I feel like I would have probably waited a little bit more before we would have went. So I feel guilty for that. But at the same time, now I can tell people preeclampsia is something a lot of people actually experience. It's not an uncommon experience. So it's important to have a blood pressure machine inside of your house. I mean, this one costs $25 off of Amazon. Yeah. And to monitor that blood pressure, because the only way to cure preeclampsia is to have the baby. Yeah. That's it. And the second the blood pressure starts going up, you gotta go in. How fast you went south, I can't even explain it. It was just so quick. Yeah. So it's something you have to detect early on, It's just, so if there was any advice I could give any dude out there, all that, just have that machine in your home and keep monitoring that.
All right. So by this time, everybody is in full-fledged Christmas shopping mode. And I want to tell you about what moms have been calling the best gift ever, and that is the skylight frame. It is a really special gift for special people in your life. I got the skylight frame for my parents, mostly for my mom, and she was so excited because our family is spread out. Her kids are in different states. Her grandkids are all over the map. And it is such an amazing way for us to connect. So it sets up effortlessly in under 60 seconds. You just plug it in, and then the touch screen to connect your wireless network. Then everyone in the family can just email photos to your frame, and they will appear in seconds. It has a black and white frame and a white mat, so it looks like a real photo frame that adds a beautiful touch to your home. The Skylight frame has a gorgeous 10-inch touchscreen. You can swipe through the photos with your finger, even tap to thank the person who sent you a photo. And it's 100% satisfaction guaranteed. If you don't love your Skylight, they'll offer you a full refund. Tens of thousands of families use Skylight to stay connected. And so I heard about this and I got it for my parents, like I said, because our family is so spread out. And then I sent the email address to my siblings and then my nieces and nephews, and they started to send in photos, and it just made my mom's day because she doesn't get to see everybody every day. And it's so nice to have people update the frame. So I was telling everyone, hey, since we can't all be together for Thanksgiving, everybody send mom a Thanksgiving photo. So people were sending in photos, and it was so much fun. And I can't wait to continue to do that, to be able to surprise her by just sending in a photo of the day or updating her on something in our lives, and it'll just pop up on her screen. I know that she sits there and watched it to see if anything new came in. So it's such a great way to stay connected as a family. And it's such an amazing Christmas gift to get somebody that you love. And now, as a special holiday offer, you can get $10 off your purchase of a Skylight frame when you go to skylightframe.com and enter code MAMA. That's right. To get $10 off your purchase of a Skylight frame, just go to skylightframe.com, enter code MAMA. That's SKYLIGHTFRAME.com, promo code MAMA.
So are you pretty good with handling stress because of your time? You were in the military, right?
Yeah.
So did that help at all, or
just in general, I've always been good,
pretty,
in stressful situations. And I never overtly showed how panicked I was when I was driving to the hospital, but I was there.
Okay.
And then seeing all the nurses come in all at once after they took her blood pressure. I mean, that's how I knew.
Yeah.
Like, oh my gosh, this is very serious. They brought in, the entire platoon of nurses.
Yeah. When my brother sort of the same thing. We were never really high stress people or didn't really freak out about things, but his wife was having their first kid, and they were in the hospital for almost 24 hours. And we were all just, it was Christmas Eve. And we were all just kind of hanging out at the hospital, whatever. And then the doctor came in, checked something, and then all of a sudden we all had to leave. And then all of a sudden, like, a team of nurses came in, took my sister-in-law, pulled her out of the room. My brother's told to sit there, and then they had to bring her to an emergency C-section, basically. And since then, he's been, like, it was a traumatic experience, right? Like, you're waiting.
He has a little bit of PTSD from
right.
it.
You're waiting for your child to be born. Everything's fine. And then all of a sudden, your wife's gone. Everyone's freaking out. And you're told to sit there and do nothing. And then he goes into the surgery room where they do the C-section. And he's like, he was really shook up from it. Now he's got 2 kids and he's, better now. But I couldn't imagine, like, you're driving to the hospital and all of a sudden she's, and so you actually had a stroke then?
No.
It was just all the symptoms. It was like,
like if they would have waited any longer.
I mean, I feel like you always step up when high stress situations are happening. But I mean, even from like the come down of it, how are you guys able to?
It was fine. But you're having your kid and the focus is on Jessica's health. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, the baby's fine, and you don't really. Everyone says that you have those moments of just really relating to the child right away. Like, we never got that. Like, we were so focused on Jessica and her health. And then it was like, all right, we'll get to know Maverick after that.
That instant connection that mothers talk about, I didn't get to experience that because I was on so much medication. So it wasn't until we really got home and I could heal. And I was obviously taking care of Maverick and waking up with her in the middle of the night, but I really needed to heal before I could like actually feel that connection that mothers talk about. And when I was pregnant, that was actually a conversation that I had with Cody, because mothers and fathers both talk about the first time they ever saw their kid, there was this instant connection. And it was like,
Right.
well, what if I don't have that instant connection that these Hallmark movies talk about? Does that make me a bad parent?
It makes you a serial killer.
Mine came later. And I think that means that I love my child any less than any of these parents that had the instant. If you have the instant, congratulations. It's a beautiful feeling and moment. I don't think it was an exact moment where I was like, dong, like there it is. But I did wake up one day and I was like, the insane love that I feel for this little human is unparalleled. So there was that. And then also I want to say that I feel like anytime I hear a story about preeclampsia on TV, or I hear about like a mother who passes during birth or a baby I'm so extra emotional to that because it's so terrifying. And now my biggest fear after that happening is dying in childbirth. I know that's super morbid, but that must be the worst thing that could ever happen because your child has to deal with that for the rest of their life. And then you never get to meet your own child. So now something that I had never been scared of in my entire life, never thought of, is now my biggest fear. So it definitely changed me, and I'm still terrified. But there's steps that you can take to make sure that you're healthier and you do it better. So we're going to do it better, hopefully.
And you can't live in fear. You know, like you said, it's not because of your traumatic birth experience, it's not stopping you from wanting to have another kid.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Never.
Yeah, that's something that we talk about whenever certain things happen. We're like, how do we not live in fear? How do we continue to want to... We're really big on wanting to really experience and live our lives.
Yeah.
And so not letting things that happen dictate, I guess, our future decisions.
Well, it's very common. I mean, as you guys know, just knowing people, it's very common for people to let their fears overtake their lives, and then they live lives that they don't necessarily feel fulfilled or are happy about or whatever it is. And then you get, slowly more cynical and critical. And we just went through, we told people already, right?
Yeah.
So we found out she was pregnant, and you were like a couple weeks late, whatever. We went into for the confirmation appointment, whatever. And it turned out she had a chemical pregnancy, which is like, there's conception and you're pregnant and nothing connects, nothing develops. So it's like a miscarriage, basically, like a very early term miscarriage. And it sucks. And it was hard, and it was like, he kind of brings up insecurities and fears and whatnot, but it got to the point kind of like where you're at, Jessica, where it's like, yeah, we're not going to let it keep us down. Like, yeah, it was a traumatic experience you went through, but the love you have for Maverick, it's like, yeah, I'm going to go through that again. Because I'm not going to let this experience stop us from having those big holidays and, everything we want in life. And I think that's huge for life. And I think people hearing stories like this and then your perseverance and your courage to keep moving and like keep going forward, and the fact that you guys have each other's back, we need more of that in the world, definitely.
Yeah. Well, you were super supportive because like I would get in my head and be like, okay, what if I can't have kids, which we've talked about, and our life's still going to be awesome. But, and also like, then what if this happens again? And, I told Jessica on her podcast, like I ended up in the ER and it was just like super chaotic and it's, what if there's something wrong with me? And he's like, you can't let your mind go there. Like we always jump to these assumptions, and that takes up so much mental space and energy, and you can't do that. It's like you're making something up that's not even there. And so just living in the moment and continuing to love each other. And, we want a big family if we can have one. And that's, just continuing our sole focus is just continuing to put each other first and love each other and have each other's back. So it's cool to see you guys because it sounds like you guys live by a super similar philosophy.
Yeah.
Would you buy a t-shirt for $50 if you knew it only cost $7 to make? I would not. And with Everlane, you never have to overpay for quality clothes. And one of my goals for 2020 is to support ethical companies because there is such a thing as unethical companies. And the fashion industry is a huge industry that you can choose to support amazing companies, which is why I love Everlane. They are a transparent company. And in 2018, they made a commitment to eliminate all virgin plastic in their supply chain by 2021. How amazing is that? And they are radically transparent about every step in their process. With their responsible sourcing and ethical factories, you actually know where your clothes are coming from, how they're made, and how they price each item. No other company is as direct and open about their business as Everlane. They have timeless essentials and are just what you're looking for. Their clothes are amazing. I ordered a couple of turtlenecks, some t-shirts, a couple pairs of shoes, a couple pairs of pants. I love their jeans. I have a pair of high-waisted black jeans that literally make everything look good. And my butt, which it's hard to make my butt look good in things because it's a big booty, but they have awesome clothes. I got 3 pairs of pants from them. The high-waisted yellow corduroys are awesome. Every time I wear them, people are like, "Where did you get these pants?" And I'm like, Everlane. And then I'm excited to share Everlane with them because I know that I am sharing an ethical company that is transparent and values the same things that I do. And you guys can get amazing clothes from there and support this transparent company as well. And I have an offer for you right now. You can check out our personalized collection at everlane.com/mamas. Plus you'll get free shipping on your first order. That's everlane.com/mamas. everlane.com/mamas.
How much more do y'all want to experience before really growing the family huge?
Far as like,
well, you said you wanted to, have more experiences and everything. Are you done having just the couple experiences, and are you ready for the family experiences?
Yeah, I think when she's talking about it, I think we just really want to be present. Like whatever comes our way, if we have kids or not, we just really want to experience life.
And with our family too.
Right.
Like not saying that stops when we have a family.
Yeah.
Like we're
ready for sure to have kids.
Yeah.
I feel like we hit a point where, we've had so many experiences and, enjoyed so much time with each other. And then we would sit here in the living room by ourselves like, gosh, we really need some kids running around.
Yeah. And now we have them, and we're like, send them back.
No, that's not the case at all.
No. Well, it's funny because he's not a reality TV person at all. And
no. Congratulations.
Yes.
Thank you.
But he's always said if he ever did anything, he would do The Amazing Race. And I've been to 31 countries. And
that's awesome.
Most of them, I backpacked a lot on my own. Mm-hmm. So we're like, that would kind of be cool if we did do that sometime.
That'd be awesome, yeah.
You don't get to enjoy any of the countries.
Really?
Yeah. You go, you race so hard, you don't even think about what's around you.
The adrenaline and tunnel vision that you have when you're racing.
Really?
No, you don't get to enjoy anything.
Was it a cool experience overall, though?
Yeah, I mean, we won, so.
I loved it. I loved The Amazing Race. It was so cool.
I honestly, I didn't enjoy it. Every night I went to bed, because here's the thing. When we were there, I never thought for 1 second that we couldn't win. Mm-hmm. So with that weight on us, knowing that we could win, it was just all I kept thinking about was the next leg, like
right,
what we're going to do.
Be your best every day.
Yeah,
it's constant strategy.
So we were just like on top of things so much, and just being in that competitive headspace. Just there was no enjoying the country that we were in.
Sure. Well,
still sounds like fun.
Yeah.
we're really competitive people. Like. I'm
she
really
is more than I am, and I'm pretty competitive.
Yeah, it's fun though. We love. We're big fans of just like playing games. Like we love family time playing board games, card games.
Same. We'll take you in Monopoly any day. We're big on Monopoly. We figured it out. Anyone who plays us can't beat us.
Really? Is this a thing?
Yeah. I mean, we just
we stopped playing because we're too good at Monopoly.
We know even a point where the other person can't win the game, and we'll just stop the game because we understand the strategy.
You walk them through the next 30 steps. You're like, this is what's going to happen. You can quit now, or we can
pretty
go
much
through this.
Pretty much. And a lot of times, if Jessica has me beat, I'll just quit right there. She's like, no, you have to play until you're completely bankrupt.
It's not satisfying. I want to see him bankrupt and in tears.
It's like I know I'm already, I know I'm already getting to the point where I'm going to be bankrupt.
Yeah.
It's just
We play Rummy 500. It's a card game.
Yeah.
And she went like 15 times in a row where she was just smoking me. And she's like, come on, babe, let's play again. I'm like, I'm done for a week. I can't handle this
She
losing.
does that with the Uno. I won't play Uno with her.
He won't play Uno with me.
Well, what's
Who
the point
does
of
that?
what's the point of losing a game that you're really good at, you know? What's the point of losing?
We like Phase 10 too. Phase 10's a good one.
Oh, I don't know that one.
Ooh.
We got to get in on
check
it.
it
Yeah,
out.
it's a great one.
We would just love to hear from you guys, like a few tips and tricks for the listeners on how you do keep your marriage happening after a baby and trying for another one. Like, how do you keep each other first, and how do you continue to thrive in a marriage?
That's so general. I don't know.
I want him to answer. I don't want to see his eyes. This is the test. I asked her to say.
You know what we do every night? We cook every night together.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. Not always the same meal, but we're always cooking at the same
We
time.
never eat the same thing. We always cook
really?
2 different dinners.
We try and time it out, though, at the same time, so that way we sit down and then we have supper together.
Yeah.
Oh, you guys. Oh, okay.
So you
you're
cook-
eating
you
different
cook for
things.
yourself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
But we try and time it out as if we're
Is it due to
line
diet
cook.
restrictions, or
He
just
eats the
what you
same
want?
thing every single night, so I
Yeah.
don't.
Consistency is key.
Who needs variety when
Right.
one thing is so good?
It
You just-
works.
Yeah.
I
What
have
is
so
it?
many
What is it?
personalities that when it comes to food, he doesn't need variety.
No, for the most part, I dig Mexican food, so it's always some kind of Mexican dish. It'll typically be like a lean ground beef or whatever kind of steak, and I stick with Mexican. Then you can have your avocado. You know, the people say that it's the good fats, whatever.
Yeah. So they say, though, that once a kid comes into the picture, you put them first, but it's important to put each other first. Has that been an issue for you guys, or have you guys been pretty...
I don't feel like the kid comes first.
Isn't it crazy? Like the
There's so
society...
many times we've said things on podcasts where I'm like, child services is going to come in.
I think that builds a better house for the child, though. Because when you're...
I agree.
When there's a solid couple at the head of the household, the kids, I mean, they pick up on it. And when they pick up on the fact that they are the center of attention, it's all about them, they pick up on that too. And then, you know.
I don't think our kids will ever be the center.
I don't
I
feel
think
like
that's a
I've
good
ever... Yeah, I don't feel like I've ever been like, oh, I've been neglecting Cody today. I'm so up your ass that it doesn't happen.
There's
If anything, I'm like, oh, I should give him some time alone.
Yeah.
there's times where I feel like Jessica is doing more with Maverick, where I feel like I'm lagging. Like
I feel the
no,
same way about him, though. I get that feeling like, oh, he probably thinks I'm a bad mom today. I should probably change a diaper.
Yeah, I feel like I need to step it up sometimes because Jessica's doing so much, and I just feel like a bad husband or dad.
That's funny because I try to get out of diaper duty as much as possible. Oh, it smells like
change
she needs a
diapers.
diaper. I have to go to the bathroom. Babe, can you hold the baby?
People freak
Oh, she
about
needs
the
a diaper
diapers.
change.
They're not, diapers aren't bad.
Yeah.
It's whatever.
But he also fails to put her pants back on every time. So there's like a give and take there. Like if I want her
Why do we
pants
need
to
to
go
dress
back
kids
on.
up so much? Like if it was my choice, I would just have Maverick in a diaper all day. You know, we'd all be shirtless in this house running around.
We are a shirtless household.
There you go.
We do not do. She doesn't do pants. I don't do shirts. And I agree with you. There's no
We
reason
have
why.
okay, but we live on a golf course and there's big windows. Otherwise, the no pants
Nobody can
dance would
see
go
it.
on
You're on
here
your own
too.
private property.
We always talk about this. We're like, our neighbors have for sure seen us naked so many times.
So I work construction, so I come home dirty, and I walk through the laundry room, take off my clothes, get down to my underwear, throw it in the washer so I don't track dirt around. I went outside one day in the backyard to pick something up that was on the ground. My neighbor calls me over, and I'm in my boxer briefs, so tight boxers. That's it. And he calls me over, and I'm like, I'm in my boxers, guy. He's like, oh, don't worry about it. He's
It's
like,
weird for him to want to talk to you while you're in your boxers.
It was kind of weird.
It's like, come on over.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have been like, oh, well, I'll discuss it later.
So I was running back to the door after we were done, and my other neighbor called me over. I was like, let me put some pants on.
Oh, wow. Your
But our
neighbors
are
have
pretty
some
cool.
crushes on you.
Well,
They're cool
I don't,
for
I
a
don't blame them.
reason.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Yeah, no, but I mean, we're for sure. I'm like, we should.
No, this is America. You can be naked in your house.
That's true. But I mean, it just sounds like, you were saying there's times where you feel like you're lagging, and then Jessica's like, there's times where I feel like he thinks I'm a bad mom. So it sounds like you guys are always trying to like prove to each other like your best, like be your best for each other.
I would say that's correct.
Yeah, I feel like you should try to be your best for yourself, though.
Yeah.
Like, if I haven't brushed my hair, washed my face, or made my bed, I feel like that day hasn't been productive. If I feel like I can just get out of bed, make it, brush my hair, and I don't make the bed every day, and those days make it, like, in my brain, I'm constantly like, I didn't make the bed today, and it eats away at me. Like, it's a little bit of productivity that just, like, changes it. I want to get into my bed at the end of the day in a made bed because it just makes, like, a difference in my mind. I think that you should just show up for yourself first. And if you're showing up for yourself, showing up for your partner is just, like, the next step.
You know what I think is important in a relationship? Staying attractive for the other
He's
person.
so superficial. He talks about this all the time.
I really do. It's just, why would you want to be more disgusting?
You know,
to
looks
your
are going to
partner?
fade eventually.
And it's not even looks. It's just like the way you conduct yourself, the way you act. Like, you never want to just completely be.
You burp all day.
I've done that from the start.
You need
I've
a
set the-
haircut so bad.
I've set the baseline. Like, I established a baseline, and that's what it is. You know, I've farted, I've burped.
I've allowed the burping, but I shut it down on the farting. You got to fart, you go to the bathroom, mister. I am not smelling you.
But I've been doing that from the start. Like, that's what I've done.
When's the last time you farted in front of me?
I
that
have to-
wasn't an accident where it squeaked out and you thought it was going to be silent.
And that goes back to what I was saying. Like, I'm not actively trying to disgust you. You know, I'm trying to
Right.
keep you
Well,
attracted.
And that's so Vito has a farting problem. and he thinks it's fine except for when I do it. Then he doesn't think it's fine.
Well, my farts don't repaint the walls. It's a
That is the
different
difference.
thing.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a
A
different thing.
disgusting human being.
It's a construction term.
But I wouldn't like intentionally go by him and push a fart out. It's just like, you know what I mean? I'm not like trying to be disgusting. It's like, if it happens, it
Something
happens.
we always say too is we always want to, like, she's my wife, but I view her as my girlfriend. Because I always want to be boyfriend, girlfriend. Like, because when you're dating, like, that's when you're trying to impress each other. And that's when you're, like, trying to look nice for each other. And like you're saying, stay fit. Like, people who get married and then all of a sudden throw on 50 pounds, it's like, well, they're not going anywhere. Like, well, yeah, but it's like, yeah, but that's your partner. This is who you're doing life with. This is who is raising your kids. This is who's, like, their happiness directly impacts your happiness. Why would you not be trying to be the best for each other? And like you're saying, Jessica, be the best for yourself, too. I mean, happy, healthy people make a happier, healthy world. Look at that.
Yeah. Well,
So-
and I think what's for me is like you understand that life has seasons and that there's going to be times when, like, after you have a baby or when you're, you know, she was saying she felt really insecure when she was pregnant and like life has seasons. But for me, so I'm the cook in our home, but that's because if I didn't cook for him, he would eat like crap. And so for me, it's important to keep my family healthy. Like, I love cooking, and that's one way that I provide for our family is I know the foods, what we're putting into our bodies. I know what we're doing, and we do hold each other accountable a lot. Like, it was on my bucket list to do a half marathon, and I did it in September, but there was toward the end, I'm like, I can't do this. And he's like, you're going to do it. And I crushed it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I felt so accomplished doing it. And it's, you know, just telling each other our goals and then helping each other achieve them. And I want to be healthy for myself, for you, and for our future family, because you just have more energy. You're able to do more things. You know, it's really hard. I mean, as you get older, things don't work as well as they used to. I mean, your back hurts and then you can't go for hikes with your family or whatever it is. So it's important to me to want to take care of ourselves now.
There's sometimes I hear couples that like don't want the other person to succeed, and that's a huge red flag to me. If you are with a couple, if you are with a partner who doesn't relish in your success in any way, shape, or form, there's something wrong there, and you need to look at that. And I hear that from people who are in relationships all the time. Like, oh, something always came up when I had like an important day, and there was always a fight, or I feel like he's using me. And it's like, well, if you guys are building a life together, then why does build a life together and like not separate and build each other up. If someone doesn't like your successes, you need to take a look at it.
Yeah. I would agree with that with friendships as well.
100%.
You know,
Yeah.
I think that's
a big one.
It's I don't know. Like I was talking to somebody about even just the podcast world. Like there's so many mom podcasts out there. There's so many women's podcasts, but yes, you can view people as competition, but you can still champion each other. You can still want to make yours better. You can still want to be the best out there, but it doesn't mean you want somebody else to fail. It doesn't mean that you want,
And you're not even competitors.
No, everybody
you guys
has
all
a
go on
different
each other's
thing.
podcasts. You guys all support each other, and there's 24 hours in a day. It's not like you have a 7 p.m. time slot that you're all competing for.
Yeah.
No,
You
right.
know?
And I do think that. I mean,
Yeah.
it's so great I always have other podcasters on my podcast because I
Which you
feel
should.
like they have so much good information to offer. So I think that's good advice for relationships, definitely, but even in friendships as well.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So we're trying to have kids now, and you guys obviously have a newborn. What advice would you give us going into this stage or moving into this stage of starting a family?
Well, what did you do to prepare the room for her? Did you have everything bought before?
Yeah, so her nursery was set up, but one of my favorite things that we did, and I don't know if I ever mentioned this to you, was we created diaper stations around the house. That was key. So we had one in our downstairs, we had one in her room, we had one in our room. So we had 3 diaper stations. Diaper caddy that had diaper, rash lotion in it. This is insane right now. Diapers, lotion, eczema cream, like everything that you would need in each station. So we were never like running anywhere to change her diaper. It was all very convenient, which was great.
Her nursery
So I loved
was
that.
set up. Everything was set up, right?
Yeah.
So just be prepared for diapers.
I mean, diapers, it makes your life so much easier. I loved our diaper changing station. I had never seen anyone else do it. And it just we kind of just did it organically, and it just worked really well.
Do you all want to know the gender of your first child?
No.
Not until they're
That's
born?
cool.
Not until they're here, yeah.
Okay. So how are you setting up the nursery then?
Neutral?
Yes, I actually
like a
already have a
jungle.
wallpaper picked out.
He says jungle.
I think
It is a
it's
jungle. It's this
themed.
really cool wallpaper, basically. It's like a giant, it covers one entire wall, and it's kind of like an antique-y jungle.
Okay.
And it could be either way. So,
So you can still set everything up. You don't need to know the gender.
Right, yeah.
Fair.
I mean, not finding out the gender was his call,
It's fun.
but
I figure there's little surprises left. I mean, I get why it'd be better to find the gender out, but we'll roll with it.
That's fun.
Once they're born.
That's fun. Somebody's going to slip. I don't think it's going to work out for you.
She's like, well, at least have one of our sisters know. And I'm like, no one knows. No one. No, because you're saying, someone's going to slip. Someone's going to say something.
It'll come out.
Well,
Yeah.
the nurse
Agreed.
told us we were doing a gender reveal party, and before she has like a thing of like guessing the gender pretty early, and she gave us like the reasoning why. And so she told us it was going to be a girl before we did our gender reveal, and she was right. And I was very upset
I
about
was going to say,
it.
did you want her to?
No!
Oh, man.
She was like, you see this line right here?
Yeah.
She's like, when it's always horizontal, that means it's a girl.
Oh,
It's
man.
like, all right. Well,
Cancel
I'm
the
a girl.
party.
and then you ask, what's your prediction rate? And she's like, I'm usually right.
100%.
100%.
He's convinced we're going to have all girls. So.
Yeah. Which is fine. I just want healthy baby, healthy mom.
Yeah.
That's all I care about. It'd be nice to have a boy, but whatever we get.
Whatever we get. Yep.
That's it for me.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see. We're excited, though. I mean, we do want kids, and hopefully we'll be able to say we're pregnant soon.
Yeah, I just want to acknowledge you guys, too. It's really cool to see how you guys appreciate each other and put each other first. And, yeah.
Jessica's running around with the baby right now.
Yeah.
But, I mean, even especially just, coming from meeting on a TV show and then going on to do another one together, I feel like, I don't know, you can let so much of that, you can let the fame or, the other stuff get in the way and kind of almost be divisive, not bringing you together.
I think if it was, I feel like we've seen this. I'm not naming any names, but I feel like we've seen relationships where there's couples where one wants to be more famous than the other, or if somebody gets more famous, then it's just kind of weird for them. and nobody that we're friends with. So don't think that. But Jessica is really out. Okay. Jessica is really out there killing it. Her podcast, social media, all that, and I like to stay in the background, and that's very nice. Like I just don't want to be out there as much. I want to be out there for my business and everything, but beyond that, no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys have it going on.
Yeah.
Thanks. We're doing something right, babe.
Yeah, I mean, I think it is hard to see some of the reality TV relationships be so genuine.
Yeah, for sure. I think that people as viewers love to see a love story. Mm-hmm. People want to watch TV and they want to ultimately feel good. Sure, it's fun to see a villain here and there, but the ones that are really successful are the love stories because it's such a feel-good moment. And people recognize that and they use it. Instead of just letting it happen, they use it. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people as viewers can smell BS on it. I can spot a BS couple from a mile away.
Yeah.
And they just don't last and they use their fame and it's kind of gross. It's just gross.
It's disgusting.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Not for me.
It's crazy though because Cody, I can't picture you on a reality TV series.
Nobody could.
No.
You should watch Big Brother.
Yeah, no, I don't. I don't watch the reality TV stuff. I don't have anything against it or anything, but yeah, I don't see.
So
how'd you get on there?
On Big Brother, I ended up winning. We were liked because we were in love and everything, and we were kind of underdogs. But at the same time, there's been like a transformation in the reality world. Like people are just more expressive because they think they got to play up a character and all that kind of stuff. And it never used to be like that. When reality TV came out in like early 2000, people weren't putting on an act or a show or anything like that, showing up with props. Just none of that existed yet. And that was the more genuine form. That's where people really related to reality TV. And since there's been that transformation, when I went on to Big Brother, and Jessica was the same way, people were screaming in their interviews, really just amping things up. And then me and Jessica were just regular talking in what they called the diary room sessions. And we just talked regular. It was very low. It was, people thought I had no emotion. But at the same time, it was a breath of fresh air for a lot of viewers who have been watching all these years. And finally, there's this couple that isn't putting on an act, and it's just a normal couple. Yeah. In any other situation, we might have not have been as popular, but because we were, 2000 whatever.
You were the calm in the storm.
Yeah.
I guess I could see that.
It's refreshing to see.
You guys are like normal, not looking for the attention.
Yeah, and then we went on to The Amazing Race, and a lot of couples that go on there fight, and it's all on camera and everything like that. Me and Jessica didn't fight once. I mean, any disagreements that we had, it was just. Nothing that was amplified on camera or anything like that.
Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. If you guys come to Chicago, let us know.
Is that where you all are out of?
Yep. A lot of good food.
What are you doing here?
My parents and my sister, husband, and kids live in Midlothian.
Okay.
Yeah, so they live Dallas area. So we came to spend Thanksgiving with them. We're heading back tomorrow. We're driving, and hopefully we miss the snowstorm that's supposed to happen.
Yeah. I'll never live in the cold ever again.
Oh, I love it.
We love it.
I love it.
But thank you so much, guys, for coming on. Can you tell everybody where to follow you and where to find you at?
I don't care where you follow me. Just purchase some of my coffee. I own a coffee company. Just go to www.couplescoffee.com.
Cool.
Oh, Jessica is at the Jessica Nickson, her IG. And then her podcast is The Now What Show with Jessica Graff. Not with Jessica Graff, Jessica Nickson. The transition when you get married, everybody understands.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We had so much fun. We were able to go to their house because we were in Texas for Thanksgiving. So we were able to go to their home and connect with them. So it's always fun to be able to sit down with people in person and have a conversation. and we laughed a lot. They are super fun couple, and we just had a blast with them. So don't forget to check out their platforms. Listen to Jessica's podcast. I am on hers as well. Her last episode, I got to be on it. So it was really fun to have her interview me as well. And their couples coffee company is great. We got some of their coffee when we were there, and we are digging it, I gotta tell you. And it makes for awesome stocking stuffers. They have his and hers mugs, and it's called Couples Coffee. So it's really, really good stuff. If you guys are listening to this and you're not subscribed, make sure that you subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. Do not forget to share this. Share this episode with your family and friends and people who need to hear it. It's so important when you guys share, because I love being able to bring you guys as much free content as I can. Getting on the amazing educators and people on this podcast, we're able to bring it all to you for free, and that is because you guys support this podcast. So when you purchase from our sponsors or you share this with people and help grow it, that enables us to be able to continue to get on awesome guests and continue to bring you free education and content and be able to pour our hearts and soul into this, because I love this, guys. I genuinely just love doing this podcast. I love connecting with the community. You guys blow me out of the water. The love and support I have received from you guys, especially after last week's episode, has just been overwhelming and amazing. And you guys are so important to me. So thank you very much. And if you're not following us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, join us in those communities. I would love to have you be a part of them. And I cannot wait to bring you guys next week's episode with Missy Garcia. Love you guys. I hope you have a great week. Bye.
This podcast is brought to you by Wave Podcast Network. Check out all of our shows, including the Brain Candy Podcast, I Don't Get It, Coffee Convos, and Let's Talk About It.